Everyone loves to say, get 1% better, but then nobody actually tells you how to functionally do it. And then for the people that do talk about it, a lot of them are actually doing it wrong. But I've learned from some really wealthy people how to use the 1% rule effectively. And I'm going to show you my exact step-by-step process on how I use this on a regular basis to get 1% better all the time at anything. So one of the things that I've been focused on over the past 12 months has been building out my personal brand. So I'm going to use that as the example as I walk through this process, and you can see exactly how it all tends to play out. And you can just insert whatever it is that you want to get 1% better at and follows these steps to get the same results. And just to give you the quick heads up, the last step of this process is one of the most important. So make sure that you stick around and get that one down. So to start, you actually want to avoid making these two common mistakes that a lot of people are making with the 1% rule. The first one is that people tend to calculate 1% of their day based off of 24 hours. Well, there's not really 24 hours in a day because we are sleeping for a good portion of that. So we need to be doing it on 16-hour days, assuming that we're sleeping 8 hours, which is kind of nuts because I have kids. And if you have kids and you're thinking about that, you're like, when was the last time I slept 8 hours? It's probably been a while. So anyway, but the point is we're going to calculate this off of a 16-hour day. If you take 1% of 16 hours, it comes out to about 9.6 minutes every single day. And because I'm such an overachiever, I just rounded up to 10 minutes. So now that we know that we have 10 minutes a day that we need to focus on improving something to get 1% better, the second mistake is actually that people don't really have strong clarity or defined goals for what it is they want to get better at. So a great example of this is if we just rewind 12 months ago to where I was and looking to build my personal brand, if that's just what I would have left for my goal, build a personal brand, it's really vague and there's no specific quantitative measure that I can start working towards. There's a lot of things you can do to build your personal brand. So how would I know what to start spending time on? It needs to be a lot more defined and much more clear. So let me walk you through this process that I use in order to get the maximum impact out of the 10 minutes. So the very first thing that you want to do is get some paper and get a pen. You do not want to do this on your phone because the second that you do that, and my niece and them made a fort. It's cute. Distractions. Next, you want to write down what your goal is, and you have to make sure that you put a time frame for when you want to achieve it by. Then you're going to write down 10 different things that you can do that is going to move you towards that goal. Once you have that top 10 list, you can go through and identify the top 2 most urgent, important, and significant things that you can do on that list and do those first. Then whatever those first 2 things are, you're going to break them down into little actions that you can do in just 10 minutes a day, and you're going to schedule that out over the next 7 days. And since you're going to be dedicating a lot of time, energy, and money to this, I normally recommend that this is the first task that you do in your day. And the last step of the process, which is one of the most important ones, is you need to ask a close friend to hold you accountable. So just somebody you talk to on a regular basis, say, hey, will you put a calendar reminder on for 7 days from now and just give me a call and say, hey, how are you doing working towards XYZ goal? Accountability is absolutely crucial, especially when we're just starting to do this for the first time because we hate to be embarrassed. So if we put stakes out there that have potential negative reinforcements, AKA we embarrass ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, I remember I told you to ask me that and I only did it like 2 of the days and then I quit. That alone has been proven to drive you more towards success than positive reinforcement. Well, take the stick, not the carrot. So then you're just going to rinse and repeat this until you hit your goal. And in some of the best situations, I've actually ended up holding my friend accountable on some things they want to get better at. And then we just become accountability partners. And we just check in for a couple minutes every single week and see how each other is progressing towards whatever their goal is. And that honestly makes the journey a lot more fun. And it's something that I really look forward to on a weekly basis. In the first month, it's super important to have that accountability because the more you do it, the easier it will become and the faster you will get awesome. See, the process isn't really that mysterious or hard. So let's walk through it real quick and I'll give you an example on how I use this to build my personal brand. All right, so I have my pen and paper, check. We're not going to be distracted, no notifications popping up on this. Now, my goal is to grow my personal brand, but how specifically am I going to do that? Something that I can track towards right now for this. Well, I'm going to do it by increasing my LinkedIn following by 50%. So in order to do that, I need to make sure that I'm going to be doing this intentionally. So, I'm going to write down 10 things I can do that would help grow my following and personal brand. All right, so here I wrote down 10 different things that I think would really contribute to building my personal brand and help me grow my LinkedIn following by 50%. Oh, you know what? And the next thing I forgot to say was how long it's going to take me. So let's do this, over the next 6 months. Here I am being a hypocrite. So boom, there, time frame. So now I know I have 6 months to try to get this up to 50%. The time frame is always really important because if you say, I want to lose 20 pounds in 1 month versus I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, the program for that is totally different just because of the time frame. So that's why it's always really important. All right, so I have a couple different things on here, and now I'm going to look for the top 2 most urgent, important, and significant actions. And significant just means that it's going to have a long-lasting impact. So, I haven't really done anything on personal branding up until this point, so I could really use some guidance on things that I think are going to be important. So I'm going to put reading this book by a guy that I respect who has a strong brand as one of those that's urgent, important, and significant to what it is I'm trying to do. And then, I got a couple things that I think would all really help. But you know what? The first thing that I really need to do is I really need to fix up my LinkedIn profile. I don't have any kind of update on there. I quit my job. I haven't even fixed that. I don't have a banner profile. So if I'm going to drive people to there before I start posting content, buy new shirts, and all these other things, I really need to make sure that this is in a better place and I can continue to improve it as I go. All right, so I've made my list and everything's good to know. And now I'm focused on today. I want to get small win number 1. I love small wins because small wins are fast, they're easy, and they help you build momentum. And then when you do that for a long period of time and you stay consistent with it, that turns into a habit. And that's why small wins, I think, are so important. So what am I going to do today? Not tomorrow. I'm literally going to do something today. I only need 10 minutes to get this done. Well, I could either read the first chapter of the book and maybe get started there, or I could fix up my LinkedIn profile. So you know what? I'm just going to focus on fixing up my LinkedIn profile. So that's all I'm going to do today. I'm just going to watch YouTube videos on profile optimization, 10 minutes of that, really get a good idea and understanding of what that's going to be. All right, so I know exactly what I'm doing today, and I have all my small wins listed out for the rest of the week. And this is the power of getting 1% better because I'm only spending 10 minutes a day. It's going to be barely an hour that I'm going to work this week on my LinkedIn profile, just doing one thing every single day. And it may not be perfect, but it's going to be so much better than the very bland and very incomplete profile that I had. So really, even though I'm getting 1% better, this doesn't really add up to be 6% better over the week. It's going to be like 100% better. And that's where the math of 1% really starts to get kind of crazy because by getting just 1% better, like I said, this profile is going to get like 100% better. And then I'm going to be at a really good spot to where I can finish. And then by the end of the week, I'm going to be ready to move on to my next big thing that I had, which is reading one chapter of the book. And then if I feel that I'm at a good place with the profile, sure, I can revisit it, make it better later, but it's good enough. And we're going to come back here and then we're going to identify another thing that's going to be the next thing we work on. And then, like I said, rinse and repeat. And if you want to get 1% better at building true wealth, then go to the description below and you can sign up for my True Wealth newsletter to where I send out events and resources that you can utilize in order to grow the 4 types of wealth in your life.